So in this video today, we are going to be going over what people call a high hamstring tendinopathy. We're just going to kind of go over just basic anatomy of that area, some possible causes of why you may be feeling this pain, and then later on down the road, we're going to do a little simple stretch that we think would actually work for this, better than the ones that you may have been trying, but they're not working so well. So one of the first things I kind of wanted to talk about was some of the things that people complain of when they're talking about this specific issue. A lot of times they're complaining of pain right below the glute, right up at the top of the hamstring here. They kind of describe it as sharp and shooting pain, sometimes achy at times. A lot of times they're noticing that this pain comes on with movement like walking or running. And so possible runners can't get up to the miles that they want to because this pain stops them from being able to do it. Soccer players who are running and have noticed that they can't, the more that they work out, the more that they feel this pain. And so one of the things I kind of wanted to tie into this was just explaining where the hamstring connects and how this can all be playing a role. So the hamstring starts right here at the bottom of the pelvis. This is kind of like your sit bone, the bone that you feel when you're sitting on too long. Sometimes it gets tender if you're sitting for too long. And it comes down the back of the leg and attaches to the back of the knee here, okay? And so a lot of times what can happen is you may notice that some people are telling you that your hamstrings are lengthened too much and your hips are too tight, and sometimes your glutes aren't turning on as much. And so if you look at our little spine model person here, he actually is kind of already put into a position that you may have been explained that you kind of stand in this position. So it's kind of that booty out position. There's a big old arch in the low back here. And so that kind of lengthens the hamstrings as you stand there. And if we're already in that position and we start to go run or do our sport and things of that sort, we're causing more tension on this hamstring, and the hamstring's doing more work that it's not necessarily designed to do. If we turn the other muscles on that need to be turned on and give the hamstring the success that it needs to do its job, that's kind of what we want to focus on here with this pain that we're talking about. So one of the things that we kind of are discussing here is this idea of scar tissue. And so scar tissue builds up in this area sometimes because of overuse of that specific area. The muscle itself is trying to do more work than it's supposed to, and it's starting to just build up more scar tissue in the area. And instead of digging on that scar tissue or stretching that area or foam rolling that area and hoping that it's going to work, why don't we more focus on the idea of the muscles that aren't doing its job, the underutilization of certain muscles like the core and the glutes. And so I'm going to stand up and kind of show you one thing. So one thing that we want to notice here is that if I am standing kind of what people will call this lower cross syndrome, I'm standing here in this position like so. So you'll kind of see this big arch in my back here, and it's kind of that booty out position here. In this position, it's lengthened hamstrings, its glutes are turned off, its core is turned off, and its low back muscles are turned on. What we really want our body to be doing is quite the opposite. So if I'm gonna turn my core and glutes on, you'll see a huge change in my posture here, like so. So now my core is turned on, my glutes are turned on, hamstrings are less lengthened, low back muscles aren't working as much. So these are some of the ideas that we try to focus on with people like runners, soccer players, people who are complaining of this proximal hamstring tendinopathy, or that area right below the glute that's causing you issues. So foam rolling out that scar tissue could help, absolutely. It could be a part of that treatment approach, but we need to also take the other muscles into account. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the weight room area, and we're going to do a stretch that may help, and two, another little core exercise that may help you at home. So this may seem like a really silly stretch that we're about to do here, but how long have you been trying to stretch that one hamstring that's causing you issues and it doesn't seem to be working for you at home? I want you to just try stretching the other hamstring. Just try it at home and see if it works for you. We do this with people in the office quite often, and it actually really works for them. So say you've been stretching that right hamstring at home, let's try stretching the left one. So we're going to get into this position here. And instead of just reaching this way and trying to feel that stretch along that other hamstring that's not causing you pain, what I want you to do is hold this position here, but I want you to kind of lean this way and open up. Just kind of see how I'm leaning away from the side of complaint. feeling the stretch in this opposite hamstring and kind of getting this rotation in here as well. And I'm just gonna hold here for about 30 seconds to a minute, okay? And I want you to then, after holding this position for that long, I want you to get up and see if it works for you, okay? Sometimes what people will say is, well, there's not a specific movement that I do that I can test and retest. Well, then get out and go run and see if it worked for you. Whatever it was that brings on that pain, try it after doing this, okay? If that works for you, we're gonna just dose that throughout the day until our body calms down and feels this change in pain, okay? Another thing that we want to try to do now is let's turn on the core and see if that works for you. And so you may think of, or you may have this specific exercise given to you before. We're gonna kind of go through it again and make sure you have the right cues that are working really well for you. And this one here is gonna be called a dead bug position. And so we're gonna get down on the ground like so, and arms and legs up like we're a dead cockroach on the ground, okay? And so from here, a lot of times with people, you'll see that my back is arched in this position, kind of like when I was standing up in the beginning of the video and I'm arched here. What I want you to do is squeeze your core, pretend like you're trying to break something underneath your back here, and push that low back into the ground. You'll see my legs come up. That's how you know I'm doing it correctly. Now nobody can get anything under this low back here. From here, what I want to do now is we're just going to do some leg movement, okay? So we're going to really turn on that core, and we're going to tap heel, and we're going to go until we can't do this anymore, okay? From this position, a lot of times people, you'll see that arching again. Make sure you're really engaging that core. If you're having an issue with this, I want you to get up next to a wall. I'm going to show you what to do here. As we're going to slide up against close to a wall here. Same dead bug position, but this time I'm going to use the wall and I'm going to push into it as hard as I can. And then I'm going to drive that low back into the ground and tap, 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 tap. I already am shaking and feeling my core turning on if I'm doing this correctly. So you're going to do this at home, and then you're going to get up and retest and see if that worked for you. So 2 things that you can do at home that are super simple. Stretch the opposite hamstring and lean away. Try to turn on that core and see if it works for you. If that works, shoot us an email. Let us know. We would love to know if that worked for you. We have built a whole program around ways and means that we can guide you through this. Reach out to us and let us know if you would like some guidance through this. We are located in Huntington Beach, California. We are doing virtual visits at this time. We are also, our office is open and you can come in and see us and we can help you kind of figure out ways to get back to your running sport or doing what you need to do without pain again. We also have online programs that we've done for hamstring pain as well that will guide you through these exercises and ways to get you back to what you need to do without pain. So reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to help.